my story for today. This story takes place when I was very young, growing up in the projects. We as kids, we didn't have a lot, and neither did any of the other kids in the neighborhood. But some families only had one or two kids, and we had four in our family, so we didn't get a lot of the nice things the others got. We didn't get Nike shoes to wear, and we didn't have a lot of brand name clothes either, like some of the other kids. We did have a full family at home, and a lot of the kids in our neighborhood didn't have that either. Their fathers either split, were in jail, or passed away. So we were lucky that way. As a child, I was teased a lot by other kids, and some of the immature adults as well. But I got used to it, and I also got into a lot of fights as well, because you had to learn to stick up for yourself growing up in the projects, or you got beat up a lot. But after a while, we all became pretty good friends. We all went to the same grade school, so we ended up doing a lot of things together. We would play basketball, hockey on the streets until the cops would come and tell us to get off the road. They loved to harass us because we lived in the projects. So we would tell them off all the time and stand back in the driveways at night and wait for them to drive by, shining their spotlights in our houses, and we would throw tomatoes at their cars as they drove by, and then we would take off running. The chase was on, and they would never catch us. They would put their lights on and hurry up and fly back into the driveways, but we were gone, nowhere in sight. We knew the area pretty good, so there wasn't too many times they would see us, never mind catch us. Another thing we used to do to them was they would hit our houses with spotlights, so we would get lamps and put it through the curtains and turn them off and on, shining it back at them. So one night we were out walking around about 2:30 in the morning, like we always did in the summertime, and this cop spotted us, and he did not like us one bit, because we used to do all kinds of shit to them when they come in the projects. One day, they were here on a family argument. Someone called them, so when they went in the house to solve whatever the problem was, one of the kids we hung out with ran up and spit all over the handle of the cop car. So when they came out and went to get in the car, they put their hand right in the spit, and we were across the street sitting on the porch laughing our asses off at them. That pissed the cops right off, so they hated us from then on. So, like I said, we were out walking around at 2:30 in the morning, and this cop sees us, and he hit the lights and came flying right at us. Hit the brakes and jumped out. Started asking us why we were out and who was the little shit that spit on my car. We were like, we don't know what you're talking about. But he knew it was one of us that did it, but he couldn't prove it, so he takes all our IDs and runs us through the computer. We all came back clear, 1060 as they call it, and that pissed him off even more. Well, because he couldn't get us for anything, so he gets out, throws our IDs on the ground, and tells us we are lucky this time. But before he got back in the car, my buddy Roy tells him that I said I would break him in half like a twig. And this cop was huge to us because we were only teenagers. So he says, oh, well, I better not catch you little shits doing anything, because if I do, that's your asses. We started laughing and walking away. So as time went on, we got to know him, and he got to know us by name as well. So one weekend, everyone in the projects were partying, and this guy started some shit with my friend's parents. He was all drunked up, so we put an ass kicking on him. So his wife called the cops on us, and the three of us, me, Roy, and Ed, all got arrested and brought downtown. And guess who comes walking up? It's Todd, the cop that hates us. So he walks by our cells, and goes and takes off his gun belt and gets the keys to the cells and comes down and first goes to Roy's cell and taunts the shit out of him and grabs his earring out of his ear. We could hear everything, and he says to Roy, "Who's going to break me in half like a twig?" Roy puts it right on me. So I hurry up, take my earrings out and put them in my hat because I knew he was coming to me next. So he leaves Roy's cell and comes down to my cell and opens it and comes in and says, "So come on, break me in half, tough guy." He grabs my hat off my head and throws it on the ground. I didn't move as he was standing there over me. I said I didn't even say that. He was like, "Yeah, that's what I thought," and leaves and heads down to Ed's cell. Unlocks, goes in and says, "So, you're the little asshole that spit on my door handle." We were like, Ed's about to get his ass kicked. But Ed was saved by another cop calling Todd out of the cell. So Ed got lucky and they had to let us go because the guy wouldn't press charges. So they couldn't hold us anymore and we all got out. So as we were leaving to go get our stuff and leave the station, Todd was sitting there at the front desk watching us. We were laughing as we were leaving, and that pissed Todd off even more. So a few weeks go by, and we were all really bored. So we pulled a bunch of the old couches and chairs in the middle of the street and poured gas on them, and we lit them up. And it was the biggest damn fire you ever did see. We all sat on Ed and Roy's porch and watched it burn till the fire department and the cops came. We just sat there watching as they got out the hoses and shit to put the fire out. Here comes Todd asking who the hell did this. We were like, "We don't know. We were in the house and seen it on fire, so we came out." Todd was like, "You guys are lying." He knew we did it, but he had no proof. And nobody around us would rat because they knew what would happen if they did. So the fire department put the fire out, threw everything in the field. That was it for a while. If you want to know what happens, tune in to the next video for continuation of me growing up in the projects. Thanks for listening to my story.